If you walk out of this room with anything less than fire in your veins, you have wasted your time. This isn't a pep talk. This isn't comfort. This is a declaration, a war cry, 3 words that will crush your excuses and ignite your destiny. I can. I while I muse T. Say it until it rattles your bones, because those words are not suggestions. They are not gentle affirmations. They are commands to yourself. They are the code of the relentless, the creed of the unstoppable, the oath of the few who refuse to quit. When you look in the mirror and say, I can, you kill doubt. When you scream, I will, you bury fear. And when you roar, I must, you erase the option to quit. Those 3 words are the ultimate weapon against weakness. They leave no room for hesitation, no space for excuses, no chance for surrender. I can. 2 words, just 2 words, but they carry the weight of an army, the fire of 1,000 storms, and the power to split the chains that have kept you weak, small, and average. Every excuse, every hesitation, every voice in your head that whispers, it's too much, is obliterated the moment you say, I can die. It is not arrogance. It is not ego. It is the declaration that you refuse to be a victim of circumstance, that you will not be another name buried in the dirt of mediocrity. It is a weapon, and once you wield it, nothing can cage you. Think about how many people sabotage themselves before they even begin. They don't fail because they're incapable. They don't fail because the goal was unreachable. They fail because they whispered the poison of, I can't, before they even tried. That is the anthem of the defeated. That is the song of the weak. I can't is the excuse people hide behind to avoid facing the war that success demands. But you are not here to play small. You are not here to bow your head and shrink into the background. You are here to tear the roof off the limits that were placed on you and scream back at the world, I can. It doesn't matter what the challenge is. A mountain, you climb it. A weight too heavy, you lift it. A dream too big, you chase it. I can is the belief that turns obstacles into stepping stones, barriers into fuel, resistance into growth. The second you allow yourself to believe in your ability to endure, adapt, and conquer, you already shift the battlefield in your favor. Half the war is fought in your mind, and the mind that believes in I can is already sharper, stronger, more relentless than the mind that doubts. Understand this. No one who has ever carved their name into greatness did it by thinking, I can't. They stood in front of impossible odds. They looked their fears dead in the eye, and they answered with defiance, I can. And the universe moved. The walls that once stood firm crumbled. The doors that were locked swung open, because belief always comes before achievement. You cannot act without first believing you are capable. And when you say, I can, you're planting the seed of victory before the fight even begins. But saying, I can is not about empty words. It's not about shallow confidence or fake bravado. It's about rewiring your entire being to stop sabotaging yourself. Too many people go into battle already defeated because their minds were poisoned with doubt. I can is the antidote. It's the cure to hesitation. It's the spark that ignites action. It doesn't guarantee the path will be easy, but it guarantees that you will not walk away just because the path is hard. Think about the last time you told yourself you couldn't do something. Maybe it was too painful, too uncomfortable, too far outside your comfort zone. What happened? You stopped, you gave up, you walked away, and in that moment, you let "I can't" strip you of your potential. That's what weakness does. It convinces you that struggle is the end, when in reality, struggle is the beginning. "I can" flips that script. It tells you that no matter how much it hurts, no matter how long it takes, no matter how stacked the odds, you have the ability to endure, to fight, to win. And let's be real, life will not hand you anything. It will test you, mock you, and throw every possible obstacle in your path. And the moment you whisper, "I can't," life wins. The game is over. But when you roar, "I can," you spit in the face of every trial, every hardship, every storm. You tell life that you are not here to bow down, you are here to rise. And the moment you own that truth, the chains start breaking. Do not underestimate how powerful this shift is. Every champion, every warrior, every person who built something legendary started with these words. They didn't always know how. They didn't always know when. They didn't always know the path, but they knew this: "I can." That was enough to take the first step, to push through the first wall, to survive the first storm, and step by step, wall by wall, storm by storm. That belief carried them into victory. You may not be the strongest right now. You may not be the fastest. You may not even be close to where you want to be. But none of that matters if you carry this fire inside you. Because "I can" doesn't care about where you start. It cares about where you're willing to go. And if you declare it with conviction, if you say it until it burns into your identity, then nothing, no failure, no setback, no enemy can stop you. Every time doubt crawls into your mind, smash it with "I can." Every time fear tells you to stop, silence it with "I can." Every time the world points its finger at you and says you'll never make it, look them dead in the eye and roar, "I can," and then prove it. Because those words are not just a statement, they are a contract. A contract with yourself that you will not bow, you will not surrender, you will not quit until victory is yours. So let them doubt, let them laugh, let them whisper their poison, because at the end of the day, the only voice that matters is the one in your own head. And if that voice is armed with "I can," then there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can keep you from rising. "I will." Two words that separate the talkers from the doors. Anybody can say, "I want." Anybody can daydream, fantasize, and hope for something better. But "I will" is not about wanting. It's about certainty, about a value carved into your soul. It's a line in the sand, a declaration that you are done waiting, done wishing, done pretending. When you say "I will," you are telling the universe, telling your enemies, and most importantly, telling yourself that nothing, absolutely nothing, will stop you. Want is soft, want is fragile, want dies the second things get hard. "I will" is different. "I will" survives fire. "I will" survives storms. "I will" survives pain. It is the iron that bends but never breaks. It's the fuel that carries you when your body is begging you to stop, when your mind is screaming for relief. "I will" is not motivation, it is discipline. It is not desire, it is execution. Think about it. How many people do you know who talk big? They talk about what they're going to do, where they're going to go, who they're going to be. But talk is cheap, talk is air. And the world doesn't reward words, it rewards actions. The ones who stand tall, the ones who rise, the ones who dominate are not the ones who said, I might. They are not the ones who said, I'll try. They are the ones who planted their feet, clenched their fists, and declared, I will. And then they backed it up day after day, action after action, sacrifice after sacrifice. I will means there's no exit strategy, no backup plan, no excuses. It means that you don't care how long it takes, how hard it gets, or how much it hurts. You are committed. You will go through hell if you have to, because you already decided before the journey began that failure is not the finish line. When you say, I will, you are chaining yourself to your mission, binding yourself to the grind, locking yourself into the pursuit of victory with no option to turn back. And don't fool yourself. People will doubt you. They will laugh. They will roll their eyes. They will wait for you to quit like everyone else before you. And in those moments, when the weight of doubt tries to crush you, that's when I will becomes your weapon. It's not just a statement, it's a shield, a sword, an anchor. It keeps you grounded when the storm rages. It keeps you moving when the ground shakes beneath you. It keeps you sharp when distractions whisper in your ear. I will is a contract, and every contract has a price. The price is sweat, the price is sacrifice, the price is long nights and early mornings, the price is pain. And most people are unwilling to pay it. They'll quit halfway. They'll sell out their own dreams for comfort. They'll stop when it hurts. But if you're here listening, then you don't get to be like most people. You don't get to throw away your destiny just because it's difficult. When you said, I will, you signed your name in blood. That means you finish what you started, no matter how long it takes. I will is not just about goals, it's about identity. It's about transforming from someone who tries into someone who does, from someone who hopes into someone who acts, from someone who starts into someone who finishes. You want respect, earn it by standing firm when others fall. You want results, claim them by moving forward when everyone else turns back. You want victory, take it with the force of I will. When the world is begging you to give up, every great triumph, every empire built, every mountain climb started with someone who refused to leave it at I can and declared I will, because I can is belief, but I will is action. I can says it's possible. I will says it's inevitable. And that shift changes everything. It changes the way you work, the way you fight, the way you endure. It makes every setback a lesson, not a defeat. It makes every failure a stepping stone, not a tombstone. It makes every obstacle a test you are destined to pass, not a wall you cannot cross. And when you hold on to I will, when you repeat it like a war chant, when you let it consume you, the world bends, opportunities appear, strength multiplies. Doors open that others said were locked forever, not because it was easy, not because it was given to you, but because you refused to accept anything less than victory. So don't just whisper it, don't just think it, roar it. Say it until your lungs burn. Say it until the doubt inside you suffocates. Say it until your body obeys, until your actions align, until your life transforms. Say it until I will becomes not just words you speak, but the identity you live. Because the truth is this: people who say, I want end up empty. People who say, I'll try, end up broken. But the people who say, I will, and mean it, end up legends. I must. Those two words are heavier than steel, sharper than fire, and more unforgiving than time itself. I must is not about desire. It's not even about determination. It is about necessity. It is about survival. It is about making your goals, your dreams, your destiny non-negotiable. When you say, I must, you eliminate every excuse, every escape, every backdoor. You back yourself into a corner with no way out but forward. Understand this, I must is not a suggestion. It's not optional. It's not something you'll get around to when life gets easier. It's not a someday fantasy. I must is a declaration that failure is death, quitting is betrayal, and stopping is not in your vocabulary. If you breathe, you fight. If you wake up, you move. If your heart is beating, you keep going. Because I must doesn't leave you any choice but victory. Look around you. Most people live in I should or I'll try. They say, I should lose weight. I should save money. I should work harder. I'll try to be better tomorrow. And where does that lead them? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. They rot in mediocrity, buried under the weight of excuses, trapped in the cycle of waiting for the right time. But I must burns that weakness out of your soul. I must doesn't wait for the right time. It creates it. I must doesn't hope. It demands. I must doesn't ask permission. It takes what belongs to it. And here's the truth that hurts. Nothing changes until you decide it must. Nothing shifts until you make it an obligation. You will never transform by treating your destiny like a hobby. You will never win if you treat greatness like a side project. You only rise when you set the standard so high, so absolute, that anything less than giving your all feels like a crime. I must is the engine that drags you out of bed when you want to sleep. It's the fire that forces you to push one more rep when your muscles are screaming. It's the voice that tells you to keep running when your lungs are on fire. It's the command that makes you study, grind, work, sweat, and bleed long after others quit, because others are allowed to give up, but you aren't. Others are allowed to surrender, but you can't, because to you, it's not optional, it's not negotiable. It's life or death. And don't you dare think, I must is only about you. No, it's bigger. When you say, I must, you carry the weight of everyone who believed in you, everyone who sacrificed for you, everyone who depends on you. You carry the weight of your future self, the version of you who is waiting on the other side of pain, begging you not to quit. When you say, I must, you are promising them all that you will not let them down. And that's the difference between weak people and warriors. Weak people look for comfort. Warriors look for necessity. Weak people say, maybe. Warriors say, must. Weak people let circumstances decide their fate. Warriors take the wheel and drive straight through hell if that's what it takes. Because once you make something a must, you find a way, always, no matter how impossible it looks, no matter how broken you feel, no matter how many times you fall. I must transforms fear into fuel. It transforms doubt into discipline. It transforms pain into progress. It transforms obstacles into opportunities, because the mind shifts when you remove the option of retreat. Suddenly, every problem has a solution. Every barrier has a crack. Every mountain has a path. You find the strength because you have to. You dig deep because there is no other choice. You endure because you refuse to die in the same place you started. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I must makes you dangerous. It makes you unstoppable. It makes you a force that no one can bargain with, no one can distract, no one can break. When the world throws its worst at you, I must spits back in its face and keeps walking. When the pain feels unbearable, I must tells you to shut up and keep moving. When the doubt screams in your ears, I must roars louder. And when you live with I must, you no longer need motivation. Motivation fades, discipline cracks, but necessity is eternal. It's primal. It's in your blood. It's survival instinct weaponized. The wolf doesn't hunt because it feels like it. The wolf hunts because it must. And you, if you want to rise, if you want to conquer, if you want to win, you must unleash that same primal drive. So ask yourself right now, are you still living in I should? Are you still living in I'll try? Or are you ready to cut off every excuse, burn every bridge to comfort, and declare with every ounce of your being, I must? Because the second you make that decision, your life changes forever. The second you say, I must, you ignite something unstoppable. You become someone untouchable. You become a warrior of destiny, because I must is not hope, it is not chance, it is not luck. I must is war, and in war, there is no turning back. There is only victory or nothing. Excuses, the poison of progress, the disease that rots ambition from the inside out. Excuses are the chains that keep you locked in mediocrity while you pretend you're waiting for the right time. Let me make this crystal clear. Excuses are lies you tell yourself to stay weak. And if you don't wage war against them, they will strangle your dreams to death. Every single time you say, I'm tired, that's an excuse. Every single time you say, I don't have time, that's an excuse. Every single time you say, I'll start tomorrow, that's an excuse. And excuses don't just delay your victory, they murder it. You don't lose to your enemies. You don't lose to the competition. You lose to the pathetic little voice inside your head whispering reasons to stop. Excuses are seductive. They sound so reasonable, so believable, so comforting. You worked hard yesterday. Take it easy today. You deserve a break. You'll do it when you feel ready. That's the sweet poison that destroys greatness. And here's the brutal truth. There will never be a day when you feel ready. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment when everything aligns. That's why people die with their potential still inside them, because they kept waiting for tomorrow. If you want to rise, you must declare war on excuses like they are your sworn enemy. You don't negotiate with them. You don't compromise with them. You don't give them an inch. You crush them the second they appear. When your mind whispers, skip the gym, you roar back, shut up and move. When your body cries, it hurts too much, you scream, good. That means it's working. When life says, you can't handle this, you fight back. I must, I will, I can. That is how you kill excuses, by refusing to give them the oxygen of attention. Excuses are a coward's crutch. They allow you to live comfortably while blaming the world for your failure. They allow you to stay soft while pretending you're a victim. They allow you to waste your life while convincing yourself you had no choice. But let's rip off the mask. There is always a choice, always. You either do the work or you don't. You either step forward or you stay behind. You either rise or you rot. And the gap between those two paths, excuses, and let me tell you this, excuses multiply. The more you use them, the easier they get. One skip day becomes two. Two skip days become a week. A week becomes a month. And before you know it, your entire life is one long excuse for why you never became who you were meant to be. That's the cancer of excuses. They spread fast and they kill silently. The only cure is ruthless self-discipline. You need to build a mindset so unforgiving that excuses don't even get a chance to exist. A mindset that doesn't ask, do I feel like it? But instead demands, what needs to be done? A mindset that doesn't wait for motivation, doesn't beg for energy, doesn't hope for inspiration. A mindset that executes because execution is the only option. That's how you become unstoppable, by divorcing your life from the disease of excuses. Think about it. Excuses never built empires. Excuses never lifted heavy weights. Excuses never created champions. Excuses never inspired anyone. Excuses only bury potential. And the graveyard of excuses is full of wasted dreams and forgotten names. Do you want to be one of them? Do you want your life story to be a list of reasons why you never made it? Or do you want it to be a war cry, a declaration that you refuse to bow to weakness? Every single time you kill an excuse, you grow stronger. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you get sharper. Every time you silence the voice of comfort and embrace the grind, you carve yourself into something greater. That is the battle. That is the fight. And it is daily, relentless, brutal. But it is the only fight that matters. Because if you conquer your excuses, nothing in this world can stop you. So the next time that soft, cowardly voice inside your head whispers, you can't, you better roar back with fury, watch me. When it says, it's too hard, you scream, good, then it's worth it. When it says, you're not ready, you grow, I must, I will, I can. That is how you destroy excuses. That is how you build a life worth living. That is how you become unstoppable. Because let's be brutally honest, excuses are easy, excuses are weak, excuses are for people who are okay with losing. And you are not here to lose. You are not here to coast. You are not here to be average. You are here to fight, to win, to dominate. And that starts by ripping every excuse out of your life and burning it to the ground. If you ever want to see who you really are, if you ever want to see how far you can really go, you must kill every excuse and live by one truth. I can, I will, I must. The rise of unstoppable, that's what this is about. That's what all the pain, all the sacrifice, all the rage, and all the fire is building toward. You aren't grinding for nothing. You aren't bleeding just to stay the same. You aren't fighting to remain average. No, you are forging yourself into something greater, something untouchable, something unbreakable. You are becoming unstoppable. Unstoppable doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean you never fall. It doesn't mean you don't hurt, cry, or doubt. Unstoppable means that even when you fall, you get back up. Even when you cry, you wipe your face and keep moving. Even when you doubt, you silence it with action. Unstoppable means that the world can throw everything it has at you pain, rejection, betrayal, failure, and you still rise. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Becoming unstoppable requires destruction. You have to kill the old version of yourself, the weak, lazy, excuse-making version that wanted comfort more than victory. You have to bury the softness, burn the hesitation, and obliterate the cowardice that has held you back. You don't get to carry weakness into greatness. You trade it for strength. You sacrifice it for discipline. You slaughter it for power. Becoming unstoppable is not about proving the doubters wrong. Forget them. They don't matter. It's about proving yourself right. It's about living up to the standard you set when you said, I can, I will, I must. Because once you commit to that oath, you are no longer allowed to quit. Quitting is betrayal. Stopping is surrender. Hesitating is death. The unstoppable don't stop. They adapt, they adjust, they endure, they conquer. Think about it. The unstoppable are not the strongest. They are not the smartest. They are not the most talented. They are simply the ones who refuse to break. They take the same pain, the same obstacles, the same struggles everyone else faces, but instead of folding, they use it as fuel. Every setback makes them hungrier. Every failure makes them sharper. Every betrayal makes them colder. Every defeat makes them stronger. Do you know what it feels like to be unstoppable? It feels like looking at the weight of the world and laughing. It feels like facing fear and spitting in its face. It feels like carrying scars that would have destroyed others and wearing them as armor. It feels like dragging yourself through hell, standing up on the other side and daring anyone to try to push you back. The rise of unstoppable doesn't happen overnight. It's forged in sweat, fire, and tears. It's built one brutal rep at a time, one long night at a time, one painful sacrifice at a time. It's the result of countless battles with excuses, countless wars with weakness, countless fights against yourself. It's not glamorous. It's not pretty. It's ugly, dirty, painful, and raw. But it's real. And when you rise from it, you rise like a monster no one can cage. Unstoppable doesn't fear failure because failure is fuel. Unstoppable doesn't fear pain because pain is progress. Unstoppable doesn't fear doubt because doubt is silenced by discipline. Unstoppable doesn't fear defeat because defeat is never permanent. The only thing unstoppable fears is wasting time, because wasting time is the only true death. And when you become unstoppable, something terrifying happens. You stop competing with others. You stop chasing people. You stop comparing. You no longer care about being better than anyone else. You only care about being better than who you were yesterday, because the unstoppable don't chase, they attract. They don't beg, they command. They don't follow, they lead. Becoming unstoppable means you are no longer controlled by your feelings. You don't wait to feel like it. You don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for inspiration. You execute whether you feel like it or not. You push through pain whether you're tired or not. You keep going whether the world believes in you or not. That's what makes you unstoppable. Your refusal to let feelings dictate your destiny. And here's the most savage truth. Once you become unstoppable, people will fear you, not because you hurt them, not because you attack them, but because you expose them. Your discipline exposes their excuses. Your grind exposes their laziness. Your hunger exposes their weakness. They will envy you They will resent you. They will hate you. But they will never, ever stop you. Because the rise of unstoppable is not about applause. It's not about recognition. It's not about validation. It's about transformation. It's about becoming the weapon, the storm, the fire that cannot be contained. It's about turning yourself into a force of nature, untamed, relentless, eternal. So understand this: when you said, I can, you discovered possibility. When you said, I will, you created certainty. When you said, I must, you created necessity. And when you killed your excuses and refused to stop, you rose. You became what no one could predict, what no one could stop, what no one could break. You became unstoppable. And from this moment forward, you don't go back, you don't retreat, you don't soften, you keep rising higher and higher until the world has no choice but to kneel before the sheer force of your will. That is the rise of unstoppable. That is your destiny. Enough talk, enough waiting, enough excuses. You've heard the words, you've felt the fire. Now it's time to decide who the hell you are going to be. Are you going to keep living soft, weak, excuse-filled, begging for comfort? Or are you going to rise up and own your destiny with the fury of someone who refuses to lose? This is not a game. This is not practice. This is your life, your one shot, your only chance to carve your name into existence. You don't get another one. You don't get a redo. You either do it now or you die with regret. So scream it, believe it, live it. I can, I YLL, I mu est, burn it into your soul like a brand. Let it echo in your veins until your body obeys. Make it your war. Cry when you're tired, when you're broken, when you're crawling through hell. Because those words are not just words. They are chains binding you to victory no matter what it takes. You are done being average. You are done being soft. You are done bowing to fear, to pain, to excuses. From this moment forward, you are a weapon. You are a storm. You are a beast that does not stop. You are the unstoppable force that refuses to break, refuses to quit, refuses to kneel. So rise, fight, dominate, tear down every wall, silence every doubt, and destroy every excuse that stands in your way. The world doesn't owe you a damn thing, but you owe yourself everything. And the only way you get it is by demanding it, taking it, owning it. So let the world hear you now, loud, furious, undeniable. I can. I YLL. I'm UST. And nothing, not pain, not fear, not failure, not even death will ever stop you. This is the rise. This is the fire. This is the moment. And this is your time.